Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I had a lost dog, so I had to go find her and was frantically looking everywhere for her. So we found her. She's all good. She got in big trouble, but she's home safe. That's all that matters. So I'm so sorry I'm late. I just had to post something really quick and worry about finding her before it got dark because we've got a lot of woods by us and it just kind of scared me. So I just needed to take care of that. So thank you for being patient. We are going to jump right in. So I decided that I needed to be more strategic with my plan for this business, right? So when I think about how I've built this business, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm good at systems, but it's not always been the most organized. Like I feel like I try something and then maybe it doesn't catch, so then I try something else. Maybe it doesn't catch and I try something else. I don't know if you have felt like that, but I certainly have many times felt like that. And so I really wanted to sit down. I kept having these visions of a funnel, like especially since we've been doing Streak a lot. We've been talking about customer funnels and getting them in, through the steps, and then eventually sending them the follow-ups and getting them eventually on that monthly follow-up list. So we've been talking a lot about that funnel, like where are people going? What are we trying to get them to do, right? So we're trying to get them into a free group or onto a free opt-in on our email list, and then get them somehow to, invite them somehow to our challenge group, get them in the invite process, and then eventually either get them in our challenge groups and then or get them on our monthly follow-up list, okay? And then it hit me last month when Lauren did a call on turning challengers into coaches. And I am going to be the first to admit that most of the time, my challengers are new coaches because a lot of the times I'm really focused on recruiting coaches for my business. So I'm out there talking to people who want to become coaches. And then those are really the people that become my challengers because I want my coaches to experience a challenge group, right? So I haven't really been the best at filling my challenge group with challengers. So when I did the health bet and I kind of reached out to all of my old challengers, I had a good amount of people who had Shakeology, who rebought Shakeology, whatever, that joined my health bet. So, and they got really great results. So when I did a webinar talking about, becoming a coach and paying it forward, I converted a lot of my challengers into coaches, and they're really excited to pay it forward because they're getting results and they see the value in either, the discount, helping a few of their friends with Shakeology, right? They see the value in something in coaching. So it's actually really working. So it got me thinking about a funnel, like a customer funnel, and how I can turn that customer funnel into my strategy for the future. So I hope so far this is making sense, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to take someone who is a prospect, someone who's a follower, and we're trying to take a follower and convert them into someone that's on our list, someone that we're talking to, someone that we can follow up with on a monthly basis, or someone that's actually in our challenge group, right? So we're trying to turn our followers into prospects, or what we would call a lead. A lead is someone that's on your list, someone that you've had conversations with, that you're inviting, and that you can send monthly follow-ups to. So that's what we're trying to do, is get follower to lead to challenger to coach. That's kind of the funnel that we're going through here. So what I want to do today is I want to say, how do we put that funnel on paper? How do we translate that into our quarterly strategy? And in this case, that becomes our end of year strategy, okay? So how do we translate that? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get out your blank calendars. So I've got mine. Mine's already filled out, and I'm going to help you fill yours out. But we have 4 calendars. So you have October, November, December, and January. Now, we're a little behind already. We're behind the 8 ball because October is already in full swing. So we may not be able to fully fulfill the strategy for October, but we're certainly going to plan to fulfill the strategy for November, December, and January, which are really super important months going into the new year, because the new year is when people are ready and yes, we're going to say yes, we are bound and determined to lose weight and we need the help. And so it's really important to be getting people through the funnel in these months because we want them to certainly say yes in January, whether it's to our team or whether that's into our challenge groups, okay? So far making sense? Okay, cool. So if you guys have questions, you can obviously comment over in the chat. So what we want to do is we want to first start off by taking one of the colored markers. So pick your first colored marker, and we're going to put in when we want to start our paid groups. So let's go through October, November, December, and January, and I want you to write down when you're starting your paid groups, like when they officially kick off. And what I put on my calendar was paid group. That's all I said, like paid group. And that to me is, you know, when that group is starting. So what I did is I attempted to do it every first Monday of the month. Now, that's not happening for October. My paid group doesn't start until the 10th of October. But going forward, it is every first Monday of the month. So my paid groups are October 10th, November 7th, December 5th, and January 2nd, okay? So we're gonna start with that. So I want you to take 1 minute to go through your calendars, and I want you to write out paid group, like when that paid group is gonna start. So go do that. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. Okay, let me know when you're done with that in the chat box so I know that you've got those listed. So guess what? This is kind of like a little workshop / team call. So we're actually putting this to work right away. Okay, Jessica's done. Okay, we're done. Megan's done. Both Jessicas are done. Alicia's done. Okay, awesome. Okay, so you have the paid group listed. Now we want to reverse engineer that paid group. So we're going to keep the same color marker. And what I want you to do is I want you to decide on when is the last day that somebody can commit to the group. So I've gone both ways. I've said, you know, this is the last day that you can join. And then I've also said that I just add people whenever. Like if they join, you know, the day before we start, I add them. If they join that first week, I add them. But I decided that I wanted to be really stern and strict about this because I think that it makes for a better strategy. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to test it out and see how it works. So what I did is I counted 8 days back. So that would be the Sunday before that Monday group starts. So not the Sunday right before, but the Sunday the week before. So 8 days back, that Sunday would be my last day to join. Now, as I'm thinking about this, I don't really work a ton on Sundays, so that may not be the best day to say last day. I work a lot on Mondays, so maybe a Monday, like 7 days before, would be a better last day because, so you got to kind of think about that. Like, when am I working? When are my work hours? Do I want to work on a Sunday night to be following up with people saying this is the last day? So think about that. So I want you to go through every single month and I want you to plan out when is the last day for people to commit. It could be the day before the challenge group. It is totally up to you, but I want you to write that in there, last day to commit to challenge group. And all I did was write last day, and it's in the same color. So I know that they're all kind of related. So take a minute, take 30 seconds to write in last day to remind yourself when the last day to join the group is. And then in the comments, let me know when you're done. Okay, done, done. Megan's done, Sarah's done. Okay, we'll keep going. So this is all in the same color. So we're gonna keep the same color pen. And now I want you to write in when you are going to start the group in the Challenge Tracker app. So we're calling this Challenge Tracker app CTA, which is also call to action, but we'll call it the Challenge Tracker app, the CTA. So when are you going to start the CTA? So I'm gonna give you guys a little guideline for this. So for me, I like to start it on Tuesday or Wednesday before we actually start. I know some people do a whole week before. They start it like on the Monday before and do a whole week. I personally like to start it like on Tuesday or Wednesday. Sometimes even Thursday. It just kind of depends. But I put this in on my calendar to start it on the Wednesday before. And what I do for when I start my groups is I send a welcome email. So I send a welcome email because now we've got to invite our people to these Challenge Tracker apps. So I like to send a welcome email and kind of give people expectations of what to expect, because the Facebook group, it was just a little bit more welcoming. The Challenge Tracker app is a little different. So I want to send the welcome email to them, let them know that the invite is coming to the Challenge Tracker app. And I also include like a video. So I include a video where I'm talking about what I expect, you know, telling them to read their personal development because they all get a book when they join my challenge group. I'm talking about, you know, how to log your Shakeology and how to log your workouts and how to stick to the plan. And I'm just talking about a lot of different things of what to expect in the challenge group in this welcome webinar. You don't have to do that. That's totally up to you. That's something that I like to do. I also talk about Shakeology Home Direct in that video. I talk about Beachbody On Demand in that video, and I give them links. So I give them the 30-day free BOD link, and I also give them the link to edit their Shakeology in that email. So the same time I send that welcome email, which, side note, is saved as a snippet. So when I send that welcome email, I also go into the Challenge Tracker app, the CTA, and I add all of my people in there. Okay, so I want you to go through each month and I want you to write down when you are going to start the group in CTA. So same color pen, go do that, 30 seconds. Yeah, Alicia, I can totally share that video. Let me go grab it. It's on my YouTube. I'll just put it in the link here. Okay, YouTube, you can go a little faster. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so I put that YouTube video in the comments. So you can grab that. And if you just hit the like button, I don't know if you know this on YouTube videos, but if you hit the like button, then it will save it into a playlist. It creates a liked playlist on your YouTube channel and you can go back. So for me, if I find a video that I like to use and share a lot, I always like it. And then it goes into my liked videos. Okay. So now that we have the group set up, we got to ask ourselves, how are we going to invite people into this group? Okay, so how are we going to invite people into this group? So what does the invite look like? Now the invite is going to be a different color. So I need you to switch your pens and we got to say, what does the invite look like? So you can invite people to your group via a webinar. So for those of you that have been on a couple of my webinars where I'm talking about how to budget healthy eating, how to live your healthiest life. Like I've been doing a couple of those webinars. Those are to get people involved in our challenge group. So that's to really show the value in what we do in challenge groups. And then I close them with the opportunity to join one of our groups. So I do webinars to close my people to get them into a challenge group. You don't have to do webinars. You can totally do the invites like we've taught you in the 5-step invite process. So you know how you have drafts and you have your streak and you're pulling people through the invite process, okay? You can do that process. So what you need to do is you need to figure out, how am I going to invite people to my groups? And then you need to write that in. So you have a different color pen, and I want you to write in when you're going to invite people to your challenge group. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the last day. When did you plan the last day? And then I want you to probably go back about a week or 10 days, and that's when you need to start inviting. Okay, so you need to invite. There's a couple things that you need to do. You need to invite your, you need to do new invites, so inviting new people. So when you invite new people, those are the people that you have recently started new conversations with that you're forming. So these are the people that would be on your streak list that would be like need to invite or forming, you know, like you have like a prelim before the step 1 in your streak. Then you also need to put on your calendar, invite monthly follow-up list. Okay, so I would say that you need to do invites for each of those categories for like 2 or 3 days each. Okay, so if we look at the last day and we backtrack 10 days, maybe on that 10th day backtracking for 3 days, we're inviting our monthly follow-up list. Actually, you should start with new invites because that's going to take a little bit longer. So 3 days of new invites and then 3 days of monthly follow-up invites. Okay, so we're doing that every single month. So now go through your calendar, find where the last day is. Now, again, for October, you might not, the day's probably already going to be passed for the invites for that. But so start with November. So look at the last day to join the challenge group, backtrack 10 days, and fill in where you're inviting. Okay, take a minute to do that, go. So you're inviting 2 categories, remember. New invites and follow-up invites, the people that are on your monthly follow-up list. Okay, once you have those listed, once you have your invites listed, remember the invites are in a different color. Let me know. Okay, done, done, and done. Cool. Okay, so we have the invites done. So now I want you to think about posting. So we're going to do the invites to people, but now we want to post about our challenge group or the webinar. So now, real quick, I'm just going to tell you guys when I'm doing my webinars so that you can mark them on your calendar. And if you want to invite your people to my webinars, you're more than welcome to. So I have a Live Your Healthiest Life webinar on October 26th. That's where I'm going to be inviting for my September, or I'm sorry, not September, for my November group. I have a Live Your Healthiest Life webinar scheduled for, it was originally scheduled for November 23rd, but I'm moving that because that's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So we are actually going to move that. I'm going to move that to November 28th. It's a Monday. So Live Your Healthiest Life webinar will be on November 28th, inviting for my December group. And then I have one on December 27th, Live Your Healthiest Life webinar. And then I also have one on January 24th. Okay, so all I'm saying is that when you're inviting people, you can certainly just invite them directly to your group and follow the scripts, or you can invite them to my webinar. It's really totally up to you. When you post about your challenge group, you can actually do a direct call to action about your challenge group, or you can say, join, jump on this webinar. You can invite people to the webinar, okay? Totally up to you, but I want you to go through now and I want you to write in 2 or 3 posts about your challenge group / webinar, okay? So you definitely want to make a post on that last day. So when it's the last day to join, you want to definitely post last chance, like last day to join. You probably want to do it about 4 days before the last day to join, and then maybe 7 days before the last day to join. So there's 2 to 3 posts about your challenge group. So now go write those in, same color as the invite. Okay, go do that real quick, 30 seconds. Okay. So posting is done, hopefully. I'll give you 10 more seconds to get your post laid out. And then one thing that I want to add to this invite section is if you are going to run any Facebook ads. Now, I don't think you have to run ads, but if you are in the market for running ads and you want to run ads, you can also put in here start ad, stop ad, okay, for each challenge group. So for example, if you're running an ad, you definitely want to run the ad until the last day to join. Maybe even a couple days before the last day to join. That's when you want to stop it. But you want to run it a good 10 days before the last day to join. So when you're running an ad, you want to make sure that you link it up to a form where someone can fill out their information if they want to join. And then, you want to start it at least 10 days out so that people have time to fill it out and you have time to get with them, email them, and start the interview process to see if it's part of that. Yes, Alicia, a paid ad, like a Facebook ad. So if you don't know anything about ads, just forget everything I just said about ads, because this is definitely not the call for ads. But if you are running ads and you know anything about ads and you know what you're doing when it comes to Facebook ads, throw that in there if you want to do it. I want you to throw that in your calendar under the invite color. Okay? So, cool. So now that we have people in our funnel to get into our challenge group, right? So we have people when we're sending these invites. So I just want you guys to think for a second. So for each challenge group, you're spending specific time inviting new people. So you're getting these people through the process. If they don't respond, you're sending them follow-ups. If they continue to not respond, you send them, hey, maybe timing's not right, or is it okay if I follow up with you next month to let you know about my group next month? And then you put them on your monthly follow-up list, right? And then every month, when it comes to the monthly follow-up invites, you go to that list, right? So this is like all laid out for you. So the goal is when you send new invites is to either get them into your group or get them onto your monthly follow-up list, right? So every month that you're going to your monthly follow-up list, you have more and more people to invite, okay? Now, not everybody on your monthly follow-up list you're gonna send a monthly message to. Like, let's say for instance you've got 5 women on your list that are pregnant and you know they're not interested in being part of this until after they have baby. Okay, well, you're not going to follow up with them every single month. You're going to make in the notes, you're going to set the follow-up date for when they have the baby to check on them to see how they're doing, and then maybe a couple months later you're going to invite them to your group, right? So it just kind of depends on people's situations. A lot of times you'll invite them every month, but not always, okay? So keep that in mind. Cool? So once we get people into our challenge group, now this is a very small filtered amount of people, right? So not everybody's going to say yes, of course, okay? So we're getting people in our challenge group. The people that we do get in this challenge group, we want to make sure that we do a great job of helping them get results. So while our challenge group is going on, that's our main focus. Like, we're really focusing on that challenge group. We're helping people. We're digging in. We are paying attention to the challenge group. We're commenting. We're in there, okay? It's not always easy, but that is really what we need to make the top priority, okay, is the challenge group. These people trusted us. We need to help them get results. And here's why. Because the more you invest in these people and the more that you're digging in with them and leaning in with them, the more they are going to be interested in paying it forward. The more they are going to be interested in getting better results. The more they're going to be interested in maybe doing something else with you, like joining your team. Okay, so Lauren did a call on turning challengers into coaches a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, that really hit home for me. And I talked about that at the beginning of this call. It really, really hit home for me. So I want to talk about the fact that in the 4th week of your challenge group, you need to have some sort of coaching event, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a sneak peek, whether it's a backstage pass event, whatever kind of coach event you're doing, you want to do it in week 3 or 4. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to say, I'm going to run a webinar that's called All About Coaching in week 4 of my challenge group. In week 3 of my challenge group, I'm going to post about that webinar or event or whatever. So first, I want you to go through and I want you to decide, am I going to do a sneak peek event? Am I going to do a webinar? Am I going to do a backstage pass event for my challengers to learn about coaching? And I want you to ask yourself, am I going to do it in week 3 or am I going to do it in week 4? So you're either going to do that yourself and you're going to plan it now, or you can invite your people to my webinar, and I'm going to give you those dates right now, okay? So I'm going to give you the All About Coaching events that are coming up. So here we go. There is no coaching event in October. It actually falls on November 2nd. So November 2nd, that week in November will be the 4th week of my challenge group. So that is when I am doing the All About Coaching webinar, November 2nd. So you can write this on your calendar, Sarah's All About Coaching event, and you can certainly invite your people to that. So November 2nd, I'm doing one. November 30th, I'm doing one. My next one will be December 28th. And then my All About Coaching event in January will be January 25th. So again, you can write down my dates for these and you can invite your people to mine. Now, believe me, I'm going to be posting about this in Team Triceps. But guys, the whole point of of putting this together is so that you know what's coming up. You know what you've got coming down the pipeline. Whether, if it's not yours, it doesn't have to be your webinar. It can be mine. Okay. Yes, Megan, I'm just going to repeat those dates one more time. So November 2nd, November 30th, December 28th, and January 25th. Cool? November 2nd, November 30th, December 28th, and January 25th. So for me, that lands on the 4th week of my challenge groups. That's how I planned it. So I want you to go and either add mine into your calendar or plan your own event. Let's take 30 minutes to add those in. Not 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay. Okay, so Megan says, would it be okay to do like a sneak peek with us and then also invite them to your webinar to get even more information if they're interested? Sure. Like you're saying, if Megan, if you ran a sneak peek and they joined and then they came to my webinar, totally. I think that's what you mean. I am not running any sneak peeks. Like I'm literally just doing a all about coaching webinar. It's going to be via Facebook event where I'm going to go live on the Facebook event like I've been doing. And we've been having great results with this. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to stick with this through January. Okay, so now that you have those scheduled, whether it's for yourself or it's, it's something that you're doing yourself or it's my webinar, now we need to figure out how are we going to tell people about this, okay? How are we going to tell people about this webinar? So first of all, the first thing I want you to do is go into your calendar and I want you to look at the 3rd week of your challenge group and I want you to say, post in challenge group about coach event, okay? And guess, oh, I forgot to say this. This should be a different color. So the one we just did, the coach, become a coach webinar or all about coaching webinar, this should be a different color. Sorry, I should have said that. Okay, so this should be a different color. And then when you schedule the post in the challenge group about this webinar, that should be the same color. They should be the same color. Okay. And if you don't know what to post in your challenge group when it comes to this webinar, you need to watch Lauren's team call about turning challengers into coaches. I'm not going to give it away. You got to watch it. It's an incredible call. You'll learn so much. Yeah, Megan, I don't think it would be too overwhelming. I mean, I think it depends. So you would just want to chat with your prospects about it. Like, after sneak peek, I always ask people like, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how close are you to joining my team? And if they say they're at a 6, then I say, okay, well, what can I do to get you to a 10? Or what's holding you back, I should say. What's holding you back from being a 10? And then they tell me their objections. And then if their objections are some things that that I'm going to cover in the webinar, then you can be like, okay, my upline Sarah is going to do this call. I think it'll go over a lot of those fears. I think you'll love her. Jump on this webinar and I think it'll answer a lot of your questions. So you just got to communicate and ask that, and then you'll know if it makes sense to also invite them to that. Okay, Kat says, how far in advance do you start sharing about the following month's challenge group? So we already covered that. I don't know if you've been on for the whole time, Kat, but I don't remember what I said, but you're gonna have to go back and listen about that. When we talked about the invite process, we talked about that. I would say though, you start posting and inviting about 15 to 17 days before it starts. Megan says, what video did you just suggest a minute ago? Oh, Lauren's team call. So Lauren did a team call for Team Fit Revolution that Team Triceps was also invited to do. It should be in the Team Triceps team call files, and it's called Turning Your Challengers into Coaches. So she talks about really great strategies on how to do that throughout the challenge group, and then she gives you a very special, specific post of what to put in your challenge group. Okay, cool. You got it, Megan. Thanks. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have the coach event listed on our calendar and we have the reminder to post about it in our challenge group, now we just need to, in the same color, we need to invite people directly. So I want you to do 2 days of direct inviting to this coach event. And 1 day of inviting is going to be inviting current challengers. And 1 day is going to be inviting past challengers. So maybe challengers that have been with you before but are not in this challenge group. Maybe people that are still drinking Shakeology and kind of doing it on their own and they're not a part of your challenge group. So you're going to take 1 day to invite like a very specific individual message like, hey, I think you'd be a great coach because if you're interested, jump on this webinar. And then also send it to your previous challengers as well. So 1 day inviting current challengers, 1 day inviting previous challengers. Same color, book it. Mark it on the calendars. Go. So the point of this All About Coaching webinar, it's really geared towards challengers. Okay, so we're really, when I do these webinars, I'm really talking to my challengers. So I'm not inviting anybody else. I'm really just focusing on my challengers, people who are familiar with the products, people who have drank Shakeology, who have been in my groups, who have programs, things like that, okay? So once you guys have that updated through January, you're good to go. Like, this is your strategy. This is what you have. So here is what we do from here. So your calendar may be kind of scribbly. So what I want you to do is I want you to print off another blank sheet and I want you to rewrite it and make it nice. Now, you could also do this in Canva, but I only want you doing this in Canva if you're very efficient in Canva. I don't want you spending an hour doing this. If you're efficient in Canva and you can put this stuff in quick, then do it. If not, don't do it in Canva. You can write it in your own handwriting with your color markers. Another idea that you can do is you can create a document in Word where you actually list off like what to do every single day. So for October, for instance, on the 2nd of October, I had 3 things to do on my calendar. Like I had 3 things scheduled on my calendar. So what I decided to do was I decided to list them all out based on the date. Like October 2nd has 3 things. October 3rd has 1 thing. October 4th has 2 things. October 5th has 2 things. And then my next thing doesn't happen until October 9th. So then the next number is 9. So I'm listing all that stuff out in like a list form. Why I'm doing that is because I'm not really sure how I'm going to track this yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this, or I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. So if you already know which one you like, just pick one and go for it. But I just decided to give myself 2 ways to look at this, because this is kind of new for me too. So after January, I'm going to really, you know, kind of pull this apart and say what worked, what didn't work, and which one should I go with going forward. And I really probably won't wait to do February, March, April. I'll probably start planning out February, March, April, in November and December, right? So I'm constantly like out 3 months. Like I constantly have a plan of what I'm doing 3 to 4 months out. This is how we put on our big CEO pants, right? This is how we put on our big CEO panties and we say we are badass CEOs, right? This is how we plan. This is how we like strategize. Like this is how real companies do this. So we need to look at this as a real business, not just fly by the seat of our pants, but actually have a plan, have a strategy. And this is so key, because then we know what's coming up. We know what to do. Okay? So Gina says, thank you, Sarah. This is awesome and exactly what I needed to get my shit together. That is awesome. Megan, I don't know what you meant. I never thought of that. That's brilliant. Whatever I said, I'm glad that makes sense. So you guys, yeah, if this was good, post in the team page so other people can check out the recording. This is a team call, so the recording is available for all of time. It will be updated in the team files. Oh, Canva. Yeah, there you go. So make sure you share this with people who need this. I think this is really, really important. I think the most important thing that we need to grasp here is that this is simple, guys. This is simple. We are doing the same thing over and over and over, right? This is simple. And when we do it over and over and over, we get really good at it. And then we have a system, and then we have a funnel, and then people know what to expect from us. You guys have seen my quote. We are what we repeatedly do, right? You guys have seen that quote before. It's so true. And this stuff isn't always sexy. It's not always new and exciting. But hey, guess what? You can change up the theme of your challenge group. Like my November challenge group is going to be core to force because that's launching in November, right? So change up the theme of your challenge group. But we are what we repeatedly do. So keep this system and just keep plugging it in month after month, month after month, month after month. It is not rocket science. It is simple. We just have to get it on paper and make sure that we fully understand what's ahead of us. And it will make so much sense, and it will make your business so much easier. Megan says, thanks so much. This is such a great layout of what to do. I've never done it. So organized systematically, it's perfect. Awesome. I'm so glad this helps. And I'm glad that you guys have a plan for the end of the year, for the next quarter, and then you can keep implementing this going forward. The key is to keep implementing, and the key even more so, now that you have it, it's following it, right? So you've done it. It's just like when we do the workshops. You do the drafts, you get your streak set up, but then you gotta do it. You gotta do it, right guys? So thanks for being on. 8 of you are still on with me. Thanks for being on. I know this is late. I apologize again for being late. Thanks for being on, you guys. Have a great week, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.